Welcome to Prajna Sparks Full Moon Sit. I am Lama Yeshe Chidran, and today I invite you to explore the energy of Eros as the life force animating our experience. As I use the word Eros throughout this practice, I want to preface it with a bit of orientation. The word, of course, refers to the Greek god of love, also known as Cupid. And as an advertising darling, Eros is everywhere in the U.S. right now, 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. And irrespective of calendar, in our contemporary culture, Eros is almost embedded as sex, the very source of the word erotic. Even when we try to expand our sense of Eros, calling it creativity, vitality, life force, whatever we may choose, we may still subconsciously conceive of it as something equated with sexual energy. That way of thinking still keeps Eros narrow, charged, and potentially confusing. More importantly, limiting our experience of Eros within ourselves may cause us to veer violently between repressing and acting out erotic impulses without ever getting to savor the juiciness of Eros in all its fullness. Buddhist traditions approach Eros differently. It is not named as such or personified. Instead, it's understood through various experiential elements that comprise a totality. This is Eros as living vitality, a life force we all recognize in our body, our heart, mind, and our life, even if we do not name it. Today, I invite you to enter into your own inner sanctuary and begin integrating Eros in your body, mind, and life. This practice can help us to notice and release compulsive patterns we may not be aware of or are hyper-conscious of, and free us to embody the vital energy of Eros, keeping its heat, fullness, and creativity intact. Eros is met in rich, somatic experience of sensory things. We train to feel these vividly, staying present, neither repressing nor acting out. We experience the blooming of pleasure and displeasure, how it contracts and expands, how it lingers and how it fades. This is a practice of intimate honesty, touching the fluctuating experience directly without reifying it, feeding it through story, or distorting it into a self with something to prove. What we may miss in everyday worldly life is that sexuality is but one expression of Eros lying along a multifaceted continuum. Eros is the very life force that yearns to meet our experience fully. The trouble arises when we curate its diversity into artificially narrow expressions that serve our dysfunctional patterns, yielding a state that is controlled and compartmentalized, rather than embodied and integrated. Fragmented in this way, the continuum of Eros can manifest as craving, stimulation, addiction, violence, and more. When integrated, Eros matures into a full-bodied presence, an integrity of body, speech, and mind. Today, I invite you to a practice that encourages us to look within directly, honestly, passionately, to feel where energy is flowing freely, to notice where it is blocked, split, or managed, to discover how we may be disserving Eros by making it safe in smallness, even as we want more of it. We are training in how to be fully present, embodied, and delicious within our life force, the energy of Eros, radiantly, gloriously alive. Please be kind with yourself as we practice. Give yourself the breathing room to explore without figuring things out, the freedom from believing you could ever possibly be doing it wrong, and permission to pause or stop as appropriate for you. To begin, settle into a posture that nourishes both ease and alertness, neither complacent nor constrained. Hold the body with dignity. Feel the points of contact between your body and the ground or the seat beneath you. Let the breath move naturally without directing it. Explore Eros as life force as you actually experience it in your body and mind. Not as something you must indulge or must suppress, but something to recognize, hold, and allow to mature just as it is, without artifice. Nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be performed. We're simply learning how to stay present with Eros freely and vividly in a few of the ways it expresses. Throughout these instructions, simply allow the experience without curating. Begin by noticing the simplest signs of being alive. The subtle hum of the body, warmth in the chest or belly, the nuanced sweetness of breath, its rhythms and textures. This is aliveness itself, the very fact of being animate rather than inanimate. The body knows it is alive. It is here and now. Observe the body as it recognizes its own quiet vitality and rest in that for a time. Looking back on your resting in bodily sensation, ask yourself quietly, where does energy feel free? Where does it feel tight, restless, dull? Let energy be as it is, without freezing or fixing. Returning to the breath, notice what happens when we allow attention to soften and stretch outward. Allow the felt experience of being oriented toward the world. A readiness, even urgent wish to respond. A warmth that arises simply on contact. This is the energy of interconnection. Not grasping, longing, or attaching. Not avoiding, rejecting, or pushing away. Just the sheer pleasure of exquisitely sensitive responsiveness. Notice how this feels in the body. Where does it gather? Where does it move? And how? Reflecting back, consider what ways is compulsion causing me to lean away from my experience, making it something it is not. In what ways is contraction causing me to withhold my energy, making me something I am not? Can I sense the warmth of being available rather than armored? This is responsiveness, the simplicity of readiness to meet whatever arises freely, just as it is. Allow the experience without curating. minute. Now, allow the sense of vitality to become a little more dynamic. The relational heart feels the impulse to speak, to create, to make, to reach out, to move towards what matters. This is creativity, the electricity that wants to engage life, shape it, participate. Notice if the body brightens, if there is a sense of fullness or pressure. Energy wants movement. Allow it to happen without directing it. Allow the experience without curating. Looking back on this part of the practice, what do you notice when you meet the creative impulse without resistance or requirement? Not bypassing your heart, denying pain, or identifying with heaviness. Can I notice the difference between exposure and tenderness, between contraction and care? Let the heart be light enough to experience and steady enough to stay put within that very experience. Now allow sensation to become richer. Vitality collects, and the energy grows warmer, denser, more awake. As embodied energy, the body feels more alive, vibrant, warmth undulates, sensation intensifies. Nothing to suppress, nothing to act out. Looking back, ask, where do I feel intensity increasing? Can I stay with that? How do I experience life force in all its fullness? In my body, my heart, my life? Do I embrace that? Do I shun it? Do I not even notice? Am I nourishing my vitality well? Can I be dynamically present with it, neither reaching for relief nor aching for release? Allow the experience without curating. Next, allow the energy to spread. Beginning from a point of intensity, it expands into the whole field of awareness. Easing from heat to pervasive warmth, from urgency to fullness. Notice how life force becomes less narrow, more pervasive. Sensation, breath, emotion, erotic charge, creativity and awareness, no longer separate. No need for substitutes to pacify or sanitize. With integration, the faces of Eros are free to coexist vividly in dynamic play. This is Eros maturing, ripening, mellowing even as it stretches and deepens. Not disproportionate, not discounted, not discharged. Genuinely intimate with life in the fullest sense of the word. No, let go of adjusting anything at all. Allow sensation, energy, and awareness to settle naturally. Notice what is aware of the experience. That awareness is already present, already open, fully capable of holding everything without strain. Rest in awareness. Nothing to reject. Nothing to prove. Nothing to add nor to remove. When Eros is allowed full expression, it is relational and real, natural and unrushed. Eros connects. It makes bonds. Bonding can activate defensive patterns. This practice can help distinguish the vitalizing energy of Eros from the destabilizing itch of reactivity. By experiencing Eros dynamically, without moralizing, we gently rewire our nervous system to steep ourselves in a trust that is grounded and wise. May we integrate Eros as life force, the unity of sacred presence, sacred word, and sacred embodiment. May our hearts be light, our practice steady, and our words and conduct aligned with our highest aspirations. May obstacles within and without be pacified. May all beings awaken to our nature as Buddha. Please join me in dedicating the goodness, the merit, positive momentum of this practice, that this may be so for ourselves and all that live. Having attained omniscience by this merit, may we defeat the enemy of wrongdoing and liberate all beings from this ocean of samsara with its surging waves of birth, aging, illness, and death. Sarva Mangalam. May all be well. Thank you for your practice and for all that you are.